Hello, welcome to August 16th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. A video where I talk about my life objectives and principles, the ones that I've assembled over these past nigh 66 decades, and how I did applying those to yesterday, and how I think I can do today, plan for the day. The words just aren't coming out right. I feel fine, actually. Not compared to yesterday. Gee Louise, yesterday I had a rough start. Slept pretty good. Dogs woke me up. But I think if it hadn't been for the dogs, I probably would have slept until the alarm. Things are going really good at work. I'm in a good place. I think that's helping me to sleep. It's a good place all around. Life will not go well. I say that life will not go well. That's one of my principles, not as a pessimistic forecast, but as simply as a readiness, a reminder that things will happen, seasons will come, the pendulum will swing, and I'm ready for that. As ready as I can be. Okay, yesterday I talked about sleep. I did good work yesterday. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to work yesterday, but I did. Pushed myself to get through the morning. Pushed myself to work. And once I got to work, I just buckled under and started working hard. And within like 20 minutes, I found my stride. And I just kept that stride all day with an upbeat attitude. My mood changed. I literally wrestled myself into feeling good, basically. Something that I don't know that I could do in retirement. I don't know that I could face a day like yesterday and wrestle myself into feeling good. That would be great if I could get that fortitude and maintain and carry that. I have that ability at work. I don't know that I personally have that ability. I would like to develop that. All right. The good life. 7 objectives. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. To have my life affairs and my relationships and my life's work in good order. And they are. 2, to make good and effective use of my time. To not waste or fritter or spend foolishly the minutes, hours, days, months, weeks, years left to me. Number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, working on the Good Life Creed. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, to become someone who reacts well to things. And I'm doing that. I'll just add that I'm having increasingly a feeling of kind of an aloof feeling from the world. It's like the feeling that you might have if you knew there was a bear in the woods. Well, bear's not a good example. They can climb trees. If you knew there was a big dog in the woods, scary dog, and you had successfully climbed into a safe notch up in a tree, and the dog can't get you. That's how life is feeling. Not always, but every now and then. It's a strange, interesting feeling. It happened yesterday. I was in this one circumstance where there was a dog in the woods, alive, and it was roaming nearby, but I knew I was in the tree. Curious thing. It's an unexpected consequence of all this good life meditation. I didn't expect to find myself ever feeling safe. I was hoping that I would find peace, and that comes more and more. Contentment, a lot more. Safety? I guess I wouldn't have expected safety because I know that in every wood there's a dog that can climb a tree. Excuse me. All right, the next one is to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day. And then to perform good actions, I said, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I'm attending better to the things that I can do, and using apathy to insulate myself from the stuff that I can't, that it's outside my control. That's a better way to think about it, insulation. And then finally to do just one thing at a time, and to do that slowly and deliberately and carefully. No multitasking. Good. I'm pleased with how that came out. Next, my 31 principles, beginning with the principle of war, which is a reminder to keep arms and to fight against things that I think are true, and that are proposed to me that I should believe are true. 2, reason, and the sub-principles of honesty and objectivity and doubt. The attitude and approach that I have to the thinking challenges of my life. 3, the homunculus, the suggestion that I do not have a soul, but I do have a consciousness, seemingly. Next is the Anchorhold, the idea that my consciousness is trapped within me and will die with me. No immortality, no forever. No forever. That'd be a good book title. Kind of simple, but I like the push that it has, push to the point. Okay. Next comes the home of good and evil. Right and wrong are not eternal or pervading the universe or absolutes or objective. They're mere opinions held by conscious creatures for a short while. Then comes purpose. My 3 purpose are: 1, to be a good husband and father; 2, to be a virtuous human being, where virtue is defined as the cultivation of good, virtue is the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. And then 3 is my own personal purpose, which is the continued development and sharing of the Good Life Creed via the vehicle of my book, Going Alone, which I really need to try to market more. I still feel like I have one more push of editing to do. There's that one chapter of the Path of Wildness that needs a little trimming up. Maybe that's what I need to do before I can really push to edit to market this book. I think that's what I need to do. Maybe I'll do that this week. Next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces falling to pieces. Then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, including people. And then the pirate ride. The idea that free will is an illusion. We are just like rivers meandering down the course of a riverbed. We look like we're kind of making decisions to the right or to the left, to speed up or slow down, but it's really just all a consequence and artifact of the terrain and geology, which is an artifact and consequence of the universe at large. That's how we are. And then comes maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. And then the social principle, we need each other. And then public speaking, a reminder to be very careful about what I say and what I write, to use few words and carefully chosen words and deliberate words, and to be very conscientious in my communication. Then comes, after that comes, is it temperance? I think so. Temperance, a reminder to be careful about my consumption, to eat less, drink less, work, play, etc., all in a moderate manner. And there are two sub-principles there: suffering, because we suffer when we deny ourselves what we want, and then simplicity, because simplicity is temperance of a sort. And then the next principle is called life will not go well. Just to remember that these good moments, these little bits of when things are well, are streaks that don't last long. Things are not going to go well, sometimes to a greater or lesser degree, and one day really bad, and probably take us out. And I call that the horror show. Although the horror doesn't have to take you out. You can live in horror without being killed by it. For ultimately, well, we all will. But those two things are important to remember: that the dark days are normal and to be expected, and pain and suffering of unbearable amounts is normal also, and is happening all around us, and is going to happen, if not already happening, to all of us. So I should expect it. Not linger on it or dwell on it, but expect it and be ready for it when it comes, as well as I can. And to remember that others, even others that seem to be fine, maybe going through that, maybe with the dog, that dog in the forest right now. They make a good drawing, dog in the forest with a man in a tree. Okay, so next is, I had an interesting idea, to draw my ideas. Boy, to feel like this, I feel really good. I feel mortal. I feel closed and hemmed in by the difficulties that are going to come, the pain that strikes me sometimes, the mental pain sometimes that strikes me, the fact of death, the fact of immortality. Immortality is a lie, or at least the immortality of the consciousness. My atomic structure is, my atomic particles are perhaps immortal. It's a good feeling. Don't know where it came from all of a sudden. I think it's an emergent quality of this, 4 years? 4 years of daily good life meditation. Maybe that's the result. Maybe I'm starting to push through something paradigm shift of a sort. Maybe it's just a good morning. Yeah, maybe. I hope it's something more. It'd be nice to feel like this a lot, or more often, or sometimes. Okay, so then I did that. I did the horror show, and then next is the principle called that which must be borne. And what we have to bear is the fact of the horror show, and that life will not go well. And then the Feast of Offal, which is what happens when we get upset and we let everybody know about it. I don't do that. I try not to. And then it's also what happens when we witness someone else getting upset, and we consume it like a theater goer munching popcorn, watching a show. I don't do that either. I don't ignore it. Excuse me, I don't ignore it, but I don't. We can consume that stuff because it's a distraction from our own pain and our own weakness and our own folly, and I don't do that. I linger on my own efforts, while offering comfort to those around me. Lingering on my own efforts to the extent of trying to keep my own house tidy and clean. Okay, next is after the Feast of Offal comes distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves from the great indifference, which is the next principle, the universe without God. And then comes the best seat in the house, to try to be all right with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing, despite my dreams. And then the next one is the Path of Wildness, which is a way to segue from one life to another. It's a way to on-ramp to adventure, which is the next principle, the great life adventure, which is what happens when we give ourselves one or more experiences of life, one or more adventures, preferably when we're young, to build and become the foundations and the cornerstones of the edifice of us. The edifice of us. Sounds self-indulgent. Okay. After that comes, the risk of avoiding risk. There's the surface level risks of life and the deep risk. The deep stuff is going after a great life adventure. The surface stuff is tending to education, career, home, family, and security. It's good to do both. It's hard to do both. It's easy to forget one or the other, or to neglect it to some greater or lesser degree. Okay, then comes the sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview, all of these related to what is true or gossiping. And these are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. The consequence of any of these is damnation right now, in the here and now. Complete oblivion is next, after we're dead. That's it. We're wiped out. There's nothing left of us. And then after that, no reunion after we're dead with the ones we love. No reconciliation of differences, and no final justice to be meted out by any lawgiver in the sky. Just death. After that comes after the complete oblivion comes the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned, have the materials ready to do that, especially if we've had one or more great life adventures. Then we'll have something to say. Without a great life adventure, the only things we might have to say are dull and pedestrian and commonplace, nothing unique, because we haven't lived that life. We can only speak well or write well about the life that we've lived or have ventured in our mind. You can have a great life adventure here too. It's harder to do. It's usually as a secondary consequence of a physical great life adventure. Okay, next is bam. Season of philosophy. Oh yeah. The bullseye aim. A reminder that throughout the day we'll strive to hit the target, but we'll usually miss. And then the uphill climb. A reminder to trudge uphill, to not sit on the sofa and watch reruns. And then arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development of good principles to use in the pursuit of the objectives that we've formed. And then the nothing is enough, a reminder, a suggestion towards abstinence. And then lastly, the principle of fun, a reminder to have fun now, to enjoy looking forward to fun in the future, and to remember the fun we've had in the past. Fun, fun, fun. There, I did it. Okay, now for today. Today's not a hard day. I don't have a lot of meetings today. I mean, I have some, but they're not hard at all. I think it's going to be a very straightforward day, which means that I can either loaf, which I will not do, or I can push forward to the next level, which I will do with my one project. I have some deep ground laying that I want to do, and I'm going to do that. So, good stuff. Now I'll turn off the camera, start the upload, read my Bible. I think I'm on Ezekiel 6 or 7. Feed the dogs, take them for a walk, get on my motorcycle, and get my butt to work. Have a good day, and I hope you have a good day too. Be safe, but not too safe.